Mr. Patterson, would you lead this an invocation, please?
Let's bow our heads. Lord Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time that you would bring us all together to do your business and the county's business, Lord. Help both of those to be one. Help us to look to you for wisdom and guidance and just civil thinking, Lord. Now, forgive us of our sins. Thank you for these other gentlemen here tonight. And thank you for the people that are interested that are here tonight, Lord. We ask your blessings on all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We appreciate everybody coming this evening, and of course these are unprecedented times, having to wear these masks and all the social distancing things that we're having to do. I just appreciate everybody willing to be cooperative about that. It helps you protect someone else, helps us protect you, and that's what it's all about. Commissioners, first item of business is to approve the minutes from the July 14th teleconference. Please let me know when you're ready to move forward with that item.
I've read the minutes and have no objections.
I have none.
All right. Do I hear a motion we approve the minutes?
Make the motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Minutes are approved. Just leave it there, Dan should get it.
Okay.
Okay, public commentary. If anyone wishes to speak, please raise your hand to be recognized and come forward to the podium. Tell us your name and where you're from in Fannin County. Anyone? Anyone? Sorry, Chief, you don't get to speak tonight.
No. Thank you, sir.
Anyone? Okay. We'll close public commentary and move on. Item number 2 is a variance request from Mr. and Mrs. Callender, and this is revisiting a variance that we reviewed the last time. The request previously was to place a cottage 1 feet from the property line, and they have adjusted that to 10 feet from the property line. So, Commissioner Patterson, do you have any comments on this, sir?
No, sir, we talked about it at length before, and I think the 10 feet will be sufficient.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson?
10 feet's fine with me.
Okay. Is there anyone here that objects to this variance? Okay. I think it's, we appreciate the cooperation in moving that line. I'll make the motion that we approve this variance for Mr. and Mrs. Callender. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Okay, it's approved. You're welcome to stay, Mr. Callender. You don't have to stay, but you're certainly welcome to.
Appreciate it.
I know this was the highlight of what you were looking for.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck on your new place there for your family.
Appreciate it.
Item number 3 is a variance request from Jimmy Dustin Carter. And this is to build a new home on lot 14 and 13, 20 feet from the edge of and 30 feet from the center line of Lindsay Lane. This is a very nice subdivision. Commissioner Patterson, do you have any thoughts on this one, sir?
I went out and looked at it, it's kind of in the cul-de-sac sort of, and I have no objections at all.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson?
I have no objections.
Neither do I. It's about the only place they can build and fill those lots in, and it's consistent with what I saw out there. So I'll ask for a motion that we approve this variance for Jimmy Carter.
Make the motion.
Okay. I'll make the second. All in favor? The variance is approved. And item number 4, Ms. Gribble, you want to come on up since this is in your ballpark, reappointment of a board member to the Fannin County Development Authority.
I'm gonna reference the screen a little bit. What'd you tell me to turn on, just about?
Maybe mute, bottom left.
Got it. I'll just stay over here so I can click, but, yeah, so I'd ask for reappointment for, a board member that's presently chairman, Richard York, and that would be for another, 3-year term, and then he'd be rolling off as chairman in January of 2021,
Okay.
but he'd stay on board.
All right. Gentlemen, I'll make a motion that we approve Mr. York to another term. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Thank you.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give an update on jobs in the community, especially given what we've been going through with COVID. I'll talk about unemployment a little bit and just remind everyone in the community about the census and where we stand with census results currently. So at the end of April, the Development Authority created a job board on its website, which this is what you see on the screen right now. That was as a result of people losing jobs as COVID started, and then some companies hiring more people. So I wanted to have a place to track who was hiring. And currently we have over 25 jobs posted, and this isn't all the jobs in the community. These are what some businesses have reached out about, and then some other jobs that I have seen online and posted. So again, not all inclusive, not meant to replace Department of Labor or any other job postings. It's just a way for me to track what's going on, and oftentimes I'll get calls about people looking for employment, and I can easily just give them the job board and say, here's what's available. So there's a variety. We've got some manufacturing jobs, office jobs, tourism related jobs. So I'd like to think that there's a lot of opportunity in the community right now. In addition to that, you'll see at the very top something says remote jobs. So TVA selected Fannin County to participate in a remote work pilot program. And so what that means is they are giving us 50 free memberships for Fannin County citizens to explore remote jobs on a company's website called FlexJobs. And it's a well-respected database of remote jobs. So jobs that you could do at your home or partially remote. Might be in Atlanta part of the time, at home part of the time. But I was very happy to be selected to participate. What TVA is doing is obviously giving us the free memberships to share with interested applicants, but also they're going to help us track what jobs are gotten as a result of the membership. What you see on the screen is just some of the services that this Flex Job membership offers. And, you know, resume review, that's a big one. They do articles, they do career coaching, etc. But the key here is that it would be, a membership would be for somebody who is seeking employment in Fannin County. So not somebody who's wanting to move to Fannin County and work from home, somebody that's already here. An annual membership, which would be free if someone fills out an application and that application is approved, it's worth $50. I would encourage any of you, or you know of anyone who may want their child to move home, so they're not currently a resident, consider, you know, getting them a membership. It's cheap for a week. It's like $6.95, and you can explore remote jobs. It's $14.95 a month. For again, the annual membership is $49.95 a year. But we've got this information on our website, and I have not gotten any applicants yet, but I do think there's some interesting opportunities, and I just wanted to share a few. And again, not to replace employment opportunities that are available in person in our community, but these are for skill sets that might be better suited for someone else. There's a lot of like data engineering jobs that we might not have here locally, but somebody could do from home. So this is just an example. The one at the top, so this is what a job search might look like on this website, but the one at the top is a technical program manager. So this person would need 5 years experience managing a team and 3 years experience in a technical leadership role with a bachelor's degree. So just one example there. And then another example on a different, different type of job would be the customer service and technical support rep at the top. This is full-time with benefits, high school degree required, no college, good customer service skills. You wouldn't have to travel, but you answer the phone and there's a friendly voice to help with technical questions. So there's really a lot of opportunity here, and I'd love to get some applicants to join this membership database. So I wanted to share that with you all. Any questions before I move on? Okay. I just wanted to touch on unemployment. This is the June unemployment information that we were given just today, actually. As you can see, Fannin is at 4.6% unemployment. And I'm going to go through what it's been over the past few months, but we are at the lowest in our region. Just to recap, we were at our lowest before COVID hit, and it was around 3%. March went up to 4% unemployment, April 9.1% unemployment. June, let's see, May, what was May? May was upper 6, and then this is where we currently are. So it's going back down. People are going back to work. And again, I just wanted to touch on the fact that we're the lowest in the region, which is good. People have opportunities to work. People are working. Federal unemployment, now that's the $600 a week that I know a lot of us have heard about. That expires this week. And Congress at the federal level is in discussions about maybe extending that. We don't know yet, but likely it would be reduced from $600 a week. And again, I think that's, we're okay here. We have jobs. and I think that a reduction in that unemployment amount would probably be good for our community, so we can get more people back to work. Any questions on that? I'm going to change the topic to the census real quick. Okay, so Fannin County's census response rate is very low, and I'm going to share some reasons why that might be. But I want to first encourage everybody, if there's anybody in this room who hasn't filled the census out, go home and do it right now. You can do it online, and I'll show you other ways to do it as well. But if you Google Census 2020, this is the screen it takes you to. You can click respond, and really all you need is your address to fill that out. And if you don't have your address, there's other ways to fill it out too. So it's a population count that helps us as a community in so many different ways. It helps our schools, it helps our children, it helps other services, roads, etc. But in Fannin County, our response rate is 36.4%. So we are low. That means we could be losing money as a community coming from the federal government. So just to compare, Gilmer County's response rate is 44.3%, Union County's is 51.8%. So one of the factors that could be impacting us is that we do have a lot of second homes, and if someone's living in Atlanta, they probably already filled out their census for Atlanta. But second homeowners can fill out their census for Fannin County. Unfortunately, they are asked to fill in 0 people living in their home for Fannin County because it's not their primary residence. So I'm trying to find ways to encourage second homeowners to at least can fill out their census for this address in Fannin County so that our response rate goes up. Dawn has been helping me with that a little bit, looking at some data from the tax assessor's office, trying to determine what homes are second homes. So here's different ways for people to respond: online, by phone. Some people received a mail questionnaire, but responses will be collected until the end of October. And again, people will be coming to your home to knock on your door from the census if you haven't completed your survey. So that's all I got.
Christy, what is that number? I've seen that before, where each person in it that's counted represents so many dollars in funding that the county would get. Do you recall what that number is?
It's over 2,000. I believe it's actually 2,300 per person in federal funding is what the state of Georgia can equate it back to, but that's per year.
Right.
So it can accumulate, and it can be a lot of money lost per person that's not filling out the census.
So we're in a position where we're more likely to be undercounted than overcounted.
Yes.
Which is not good.
No, not good. You know, social media right now is what we're trying to do to get the word out, just because there's not as many social gatherings in person. Open to suggestions about how else to get the word out. It's, I mean, we've got a few more months. I'd just rather see our response rate go up. I've got some free giveaways coming out. That's enticing to people, so.
I've seen some numbers on what you've been involved, kind of switching gears on
Yeah.
how many jobs in the last year or whatever time frame you had. That's quite an impressive number of jobs that you've been involved with in one form or another. What are we looking at in the last year that you've been involved with?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
350?
Yeah, I think it was 350, and what that means is, so if I've been involved with 350 jobs, it's either by putting a business in as a tenant in one of our buildings, helping them expand, or simply someone reaching out interested in opening up a small business downtown. But track everything I do so I can report those numbers. But I always like to say we live in a really great community, whether you're starting a business, starting your own business, or wanting to work for a business that's already here. We're lucky to be able to do what we do here.
I don't have any more questions unless the commissioners do.
Well, we just appreciate all you do, Christy. It's we're glad to have you.
Thank
We'll
you.
keep working on that.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Christy. Okay, item 6 is our financial report, and Ms. Walker, you've got some copies. How many do you have?
About 12.
Okay, if you'd like a copy, and maybe I could ask you to share it, just please raise your hand, and Ms. Walker will pass those around to you. This is the January through June financial budget report, so that's always an easy one when you're looking at percentages where you should be. You're halfway through the year, so that's kind of the target to be on the expenditures. Everybody got a copy to look for? Okay. We'll move on to the second page of risk management, which is basically our health care and our general liability. And we had quite a few claims turned in the last month because we're moving out of the previous plan into a new one, and they're out urging all of the health care providers to get those claims in. So we've kind of had a rush of that, which moves that number up to right now, year to date, we're about $322,000 over. But we also get, since we're partially self-insured, we get reinsurance, which is insurance on insurance, and we get funds coming back from that. And we're expecting $145,000 to come back into July, which would knock that that $322,000 number down, and hopefully that carries on to the next month. The general liability, that's basically an annual payment, and that number would, as the year goes on, should kind of as a percentage come down. Any questions on that, Commissioners?
Chairman Helton, this reinsurance that we're gonna get $145K, is that every 6 months, or how does that work? Are we gonna get some more money from them?
That's basically whenever they get, you look at the claims and come back. So it's as often as once a month.
Okay.
Yeah. Our next page is the highlights of our overall, how we have different departments combined into administration, the judiciary, of course the risk management is insurance, public safety is a combination of law enforcement, fire, EMS. The debt, that $1,120,000 budget expenditure, is the debt that's on this courthouse. And there's another payment to be made this year, and then next year there will be 2 payments, and then this courthouse will be paid off. That will be a 16-year, 15-year obligation that will be taken care of. And as we speak, when that happens, that will be the county will not have any long-term debt, which is a pretty enviable position for anyone to be in. You can look at the SPOS. We have the total expenditures on that are down primarily because of public works, which we'll hit on here again. But 50% is where we're at. We were just right on line, and at 43%, we're actually under budget by 7% on expenditures, which is a pretty good spot. Any questions, Commissioners? And then the next page is just the same data into a pie chart. And then some of the highlights. Recreation, although we've had a number of programs that we've had to delay or cancel for the year, including the outdoor sports, baseball. That's a huge money maker for the county, or revenue enhancer. And even with that, the expenditures out there, we've been managing that. Eddie and his folks have done a good job with that. And building maintenance, of course, right in line. The public works, that is the general fund expenditures for them, and then the SPOS that's allocated to public works. That's about a 57–58% SPOS allocation goes strictly to public works for roads and bridges. And we're quite a bit under on that number, And that's primarily because we reduced our targeted number of roads. We cut that back about 50% because of the COVID, the uncertainties of that and not knowing what it was going to do to our budget other than be harmful. So we cut that back and focused on actually going around a lot of the roads, even some we paved recently in the last 3 years, and fixed up some sore spots and some spots that needed to be done. So we used that time and money productively. We just didn't have the big projects, although we've started on that now. And that number, of course, we won't remain under that much going forward the rest of the year. The fire department's showing $33,590 in the red. That's because of annual lease payments on the fire trucks, and it's a timing issue with that. A little bit over on uniforms and tires. Then the sheriff's department over $54,000 in the red. That again is annual lease payments for cars, which I believe the sheriff has said he will not be going back on the lease program again, but just going to capital expenditures to purchase. So that number, as the year goes on, will come off as well. Any questions on those items, commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, you mentioned about the paving. Are we just gonna play that by ear, or do you plan on having chip and seal the roads that we had before, or that we talked about earlier in the year, the budget?
We'll stick with that schedule, which was about 50% of the roads we normally do. And of course, with us being at this point in the year, we're not going to be able to push that much more than what we've got. And then the other thing, hopefully by the next meeting or soon after, we'll have bids that have contracted off on repaving pre-mixed asphalt roads, which, if you recall,
those we plan on doing.
Well, we will, and what we'll look at is, if you recall, we had a number of roads, and then we were going to have those bid aggregately or individually, so that we'll know as we're going forward how our budget is. Then we'll make a decision whether we want to do all those roads or just partial. We're set up to do that. That was what we had discussed before. But that should be, we have those bids coming in, I believe, next month. Zach?
This month we will open.
Okay. I heard you say something, but.
Yes.
Okay.
The bids are due by the end of this month, correct?
July 30th.
Any further questions on that page? And then year to date, right now, we're 7% under expenditure budget. And again, the biggest contributor to that has been our reduction and slowdown in public works paving. So that number, right now, that'll change during the year, rest of the year. Then our last page is our local option sales tax and our special purpose tax collections. And as you can see, both of those compared this year, same time to last year, are running slightly ahead. And in fact, the the hotel motel tax collections, which we don't have here on the chart, in June were a record. So this rebound that we have in our economy and the tourism business, which is our lifeblood, one of our two biggest industries in the county, that has come back with a vengeance, and we're glad to see that. So this year, totally, we're 7% under on expenditures, and through June, we're actually about 1% ahead of overall tax revenues for the county. So right now, through the first 6 months, knock on wood, we've done pretty well. The county has done very well. And hopefully, as the year goes on, even with all the uncertainty, we're not in such really behind so much as some of our surrounding and other Georgia counties. So that's, Commissioner, that's all I have on the financial report. Any other questions on that, Mr. Johnson?
I have none. It's amazing, though, I have a statement to make, it's amazing with what's going on worldwide right now, especially here locally, that we're ahead on the lost and splosh collections.
Right.
A lot of people coming to Blue Ridge and renting, I guess.
I think the biggest contributor to that, if you look at airlines like Delta Airlines, the early retirements they've been offering and layoffs, people are really a little afraid of getting on airlines and taking long trips. And this is something I think that you can talk to business owners that are in the tourism business. And Fannin County usually does pretty well when the nation as a whole has recession problems, because folks still want to vacate. They come up here instead of taking some of these long, expensive trips, and thank goodness they do. That's helped us quite a bit. So your point is well taken, Mr. Johnson. Item number 7, and this is a $6,000 safety grant that Mr. Cook, I think Robert takes the credit for this, but you do all the work, don't you, Patrick, in filing this grant? So we had a $6,000 safety grant for EMA 9/11, and about $4,000 of that has been in personal protective gear for the personnel there. And there's a couple of $1,000 more that we're eligible for, and I believe we bought a dryer.
Correct.
Out there that we'll take another chunk on that. So that's good news to get a slight grant. Patrick, you don't have to stand up for applause, but we appreciate your work on that.
Okay. How does it work? Working good?
We ain't got it yet. We'll
You
find
don't
out.
have it yet?
No, we just ordered it today, actually.
So after you got the funds?
Correct.
No. What did we buy not too long ago? Was it
That was the washer. See how we got the dryer to go with it.
oh, never mind. I knew it was something to do with it.
Yep.
So you got the washer, now you're receiving the dryer?
Right.
Okay. Now y'all smell better.
You still have the floor, sir, too.
I know what that sour smell is now.
All right. Item number 8 is appointment of a board member to the Tax Assessor Board. And this nomination comes under the post 1 seat. So Commissioner Johnson, this is your nomination to make and bring before the board, sir. So I'll turn that over to you at this time.
Well, currently the seat is held by Mr. Troy Jr. And I think it's been 3 years. And I'd like to appreciate him for his time and service he's given to the county. I have a new appointment I'd like to present to the board, a man who's interested in looking at the job, and I think he'll be a good asset to have. His name is Brian Burgess. He's a local business owner here in the county, and that's who I would be inclined to present to the board to replace Mr. Troy Jr.
Commissioner Patterson, you have any thoughts, questions, sir?
No, I'd like to also appreciate Troy Jr. for all he's done tonight, during the last 3 years. But I don't have any issue with Mr. Burgess.
Mr. Jr., I want to thank you for your service on the board. You put a lot into it. And I know a few years ago we probably had a little different thoughts about the board, which direction it wants to go. But I really felt like what we needed to do was a little more management. We expanded from a 3-member board to 5, and I think that's been helpful. And I think every department can continue to improve in all areas. But again, I want to thank you for doing that and the time that you took and put into it. It's a tough job, and we're greatly appreciative to anybody that steps up and serves on any board, particularly the tax assessor board. So thank you for your service. I don't have anything further to say except at this point ask for a motion that we approve Mr. Brian Burgess as a member of the Fannin County Tax Assessor Board. I'll ask for a motion on that.
Make the motion.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Okay. It's unanimous. All right. The last item we have on the agenda is Ms. Walker pointed out to me that August 11th is the election day, so I'm not quite sure that we ought to have our agenda, our meeting on that same day. So I'd like to say that we could reschedule that to the Monday right before that, Monday night, which would be August 10th, and have that regular scheduled meeting move it one day up from the 11th to the 10th. Mr. Patterson, do you have any concerns?
I have no objections to that.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, any?
I don't have any objections. I won't be able to make it on that Monday, though.
Okay. All right. I guess I better be here then.
I think two of you can hang on.
Okay. Okay. Then, Ms. Doss, do we need to vote to move that, or is that just?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I'll make a motion that we move the next regularly scheduled meeting from August 11th, Tuesday, to Monday, August the 10th, same time, 5:15. Hopefully here, we will hold out the possibility of a teleconference if that was available. Would that be?
If there's teleconference, I can
Okay.
participate.
We'll make that decision here real soon,
All right.
and that'll factor into what we do, Commissioner.
All right.
We don't want to put you in a spot where you can't attend. Okay, so I'll make a motion, we move that to August the 10th. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second? Okay. All in favor? All right, we'll reschedule it to the 10th. We'll possibly be here or a teleconference. We'll make that decision next week. Okay. All right. Do we need executive session tonight, gentlemen?
I do not.
Okay.
I don't.
Nor do I. I've got one comment I want to make here before we ask for adjournment. In talking to some of our fellow commissioners in other counties, in fact, there was one commissioner recently that talked about he'd been a commissioner for 20 years, and the toughest 5 months he'd ever had has been the last 5 months dealing with this COVID situation. So I've not been in office that long. I'd like to think there are gentler and smoother days ahead for us, but we're having to make a lot of things because of all the variables coming to us so fast and so hard. And there's no perfect decision you're going to make here, certainly not in dealing with this. We made a decision here a few weeks ago. We were ordered by the courts to thoroughly clean all the judicial area, everything in the back area here. And we were going to stick with that area. Looked at a few companies that were presented by our EMA department, and focused on a company that specialized in cleaning. And between the evening of making that decision till the next morning, we found that there had been a lot of potential spreading throughout this courthouse. And that sent off shock waves with us. And we could have done a fly-by-night company. I mean, I can come out here with Lysol and spray this, and you can pay me $1.25 if you want to, but that really doesn't do anything. And our biggest concern, when you look at everybody in this courthouse, there are people coming in here. We have no idea what their health condition is. We have employees in this courthouse, I know a little more about that I can't talk about, that are at great risk if something happens to them when they have this. And that is a very scary thing to do. We have children that come into the library. The library was clean as well. They were shut down. So we had to make a decision in the best interest of the public and the employees. And certainly going forward, we may have to look at this a little closer, but trying to make a decision like that quick when you're absolutely terrified about what it could do to somebody. I mean, some of you folks think I don't like you, but I tell you what, it'd be difficult to determine this, but if you can take a half measure and make everybody happy and not spend much money, okay, but is it really protecting you? And here's the real game changer about this that we knew going in. We have an award from the state that we're eligible for to be reimbursed for that expense and anything else that's COVID related by September 1st. That number is $364,000. So I personally feel, and the final number is $66,500 that we spent on this courthouse cleaning, and we've all taken, all of us commissioners, kind of a beating on it. And you know what? I'll take a beating on that for public safety, particularly if this is federal money, $4.1 billion that came to the state. It went to 4 counties in the state initially with a population of 500,000 or more. They then turned around in June and gave eligibility to every other county, city, local government in the state for funding for COVID expenses. Friday evening, I was finally able to get into the portal that they call, where you can go in and apply, and we were accepted. Our application was accepted, and now we'll be able to take funds that are legitimate, that we're using not for any other reason except protection of the county citizens. And let me tell you something else. I'm a conservative. I believe in being as tight on money as I can, but you know what? $364,000, if we don't spend that and find legitimate reasons for it, you know where it goes? It goes to one of the other 158 counties or over almost 500 municipalities in the city, in the state. They'll be glad to take what we don't use. So I just want to make that clear to everyone. It's easy to play 20/20 hindsight, and it's easy to play politics right now with elections coming up. But that had nothing to do with the whole effort. There were 24 people, that company up here, wearing these moon suits, going over everything. They looked like groundhogs at a groundhog convention with spacesuits on. And and the idea was that when that Monday, when every employee or any citizen that came in this courthouse, they were assured that they got the best safety protection that money, federal, state money, could buy. So I feel good about that decision, and anyone that wants to question that or bash any of us on Facebook, go ahead. Until you sit in this seat up here and deal with decisions like that, it's pretty difficult. And I don't mean to be on the rant, but I just felt like it was time to kind of expand on, now that we've had time, and to do that. Commissioners, any thoughts on that, Commissioner Patterson?
No.
Tough call, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. Commissioner Johnson?
It was.
I just hope we don't have to go through it again, hopefully. I mean, we're gonna experience it one way or another, it seems like. This isn't going away overnight. Everyone thought it was getting better. Now it's worse now than it was in the beginning. So we're just gonna have to take everything as it comes and hope in between everyone's safe and makes good decisions. And if they're sick or feel sick or know that they've been around someone that's sick, just stay home would be the smartest decision.
That's what that little machine down there when you come in, it's not to take your picture for any big brother business. It's there for you to line up, have your temperature checked for safety of everybody. That's why we have that there. So I'm through with that. I'll ask for a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion.
Okay. Motion first, second. All in favor? Thank you folks for coming. Appreciate it.